Looks good.
Well, I think our sponsors. Fine by me. Yeah. There's still going to be some tough games, the third and fourth round. But,
Yeah,
no question. Welcome, everybody, to Bird's Nest Stadium, beautiful Georgetown, Kentucky. Probably the coolest Friday night we've had so far. Game time temperature is going to be about 65 degrees. Feels like fall, and it's going to be a battle that we've been waiting for since summer, spring, since last fall, probably always. When these two get together, Scott County, Frederick Douglass, the Cards coming in at 4-0, ranked number 6 in Class 5A. I believe unanimous number 1 in 5A this week, consensus number 2 overall in the state. Frederick Douglass at 5-0. They've played 4 games on the field. They had a forfeit win. They've scored 50 plus in their 4 victories. You look at theirs. For one thing, they've never lost to a team from Lexington. Bryan Station, they beat 52-7. Tates Creek, 57-8. Dunbar, 54-7. Henry Clay, 54-7. Cal Oaks here along with Sam Sutton. Sam, you look at those scores. It's a team that evokes a lot of fear and a lot of people. What does Scott County have to do to kind of shoo away the fear factor tonight and feel like they've got a shot?
Yeah, I think the first thing, Cal, is they just have to have confidence that they can win. You know, if they go into this game not believing in themselves or don't think they have a chance, then I think the game's already over before it starts. But on the field, we've talked about it before, but first thing is can't turn the ball over. They have to stay ahead of the chains and, you know, hope for a couple turnovers on the defensive end by Douglass. But play a clean game and have confidence that they can do it.
Those offensive numbers are impressive, but the calling card for Douglass is its defense, just loaded with D1 prospects. As Coach McKee was telling me earlier in the week, between their defense and their kicking game, Cooper Ranvier, who puts the ball in the end zone pretty much after every touchdown, you're going 80 yards, and if you don't go anywhere on offense, Douglass is probably going on a short field 40 or 50, even if they don't force a turnover. And that changes the whole tenor of a game when a team can do that all night long.
Yeah, no doubt, especially in high school football when most teams, 98% of teams, don't have a punter that can flip the field. So moving the chains a little bit, getting a few first downs, even if you don't go score, can really help your chances in this game by just flipping the field a little bit.
That's been the key for Scott County. They've been unable to sustain those long drives against Douglass. A lot of times it's been self-inflicted. It's been penalties, which we'll talk about more as the last couple of weeks against Bryan Station and Dunbar. They have gotten away with double-digit penalties. That's not something they can do tonight. Also turnovers, can't put the ball on the ground. And you have to find a way to force a couple. You have to put Douglass in some spots they haven't been in this season.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, you don't want to put that pressure on them, but you really have to almost play a perfect game against a team like this. But I think Scott County is very capable of it. They're coached the right way. They have the right system. They have the players to do it. You have a great crowd out here tonight. And this is, you know, Scott County's rival since Frederick Douglass has been built. So I think they'll be ready to play and be ready.
Frederick Douglass threw down the gauntlet from day one, week 0 in 2017, when the preview in one of the papers around here, the coach at the time was quoted as referring to them as the team up north. That has kind of stuck. They don't call Scott County by name. It's not original by any means. Ohio State says that about Michigan. But it just goes to show they have not treated Scott County with the same fear and reverence that other schools did for many, many years. And that's been to their credit. I think they have been able to kind of demystify the Cards a little bit, where other teams from Lexington over the years just have not been able to do that.
Yeah, they have never been scared of us, but it made it for great games early. You know, we had their number early. They've had our number the last few years. And both sides of that really wasn't close outside of the 8-team playoffs. So hopefully this game can get back to being very competitive with 2 great programs, and I'm really looking forward to watching this game tonight.
Yeah, the 2017 season, Scott County, you were on that team, pretty much handled Douglass twice, both during the regular season and during the playoffs.
And if I'm right, that was their only 2 losses that year.
Yeah, they didn't. They might have had one in week 1, or I might have been thinking of the next year they had a situation. But, yeah, they certainly didn't lose to anybody around here, and Scott County took care of business, avenged a regular season loss in 2018 in the playoffs. That was Brian Hudson's senior year, Cade Mullins and some others on that team. And since then, it has been Douglass dominating the series. 2019 twice, and then the 2020 COVID year, they played once. Regular season was postponed. They came in here for the playoffs, 39-21, the final. And then last year, one shutout win and one running clock win in the playoffs. So it's been a while since Scott County has really even been able to push Douglas. I think the key. You look at their scores. Every game's been a running clock game. If you're Scott County, keep it close till the half. Again, put them in a spot that they haven't been in and see how it goes. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And every time you think Douglas loses key players like a Dane Key, Kel Kraut, whoever it might be, they just reload with another great talent, another Power 5 prospect. So they've done a great job of building that program, and they're keeping it there just like Scott County has the last 20 years. So this should be a great game for the foreseeable future. And like we mentioned, hopefully it can get back to being very competitive.
Gosh, even their guys that aren't D1 prospects. I think of a guy like Darius Neal, who's now at Georgetown College.
Tearing it up.
Just a stud. And he was a stud in high school,
Yep.
Single-handedly kind of took over that Thanksgiving night game in 2020 in the playoffs. And, it just shows you can't count anything out. You think you've got this team. You think you want to focus on shutting down the pass game, they will beat you with the run. You think you shut down the run game, they will throw it. They do have a relatively young quarterback, probably the biggest game he's ever been in, Cole Carpenter, transfer. You mentioned those receivers that they've lost over the years. They've still got some big names on this roster and some impressive stats. You just go down the list.
Yeah,
Tylon Webb, Cameron Dunn, you name it. Those two guys have combined for 22 catches. It seems like they've both been there for 4 years, but it just the train keeps rolling.
Yeah, but in a matchup like this, you kind of have to pick your poison and choose one of them that you want to try to shut down with such a great team in Douglas. And in my opinion, I think they have to try to stop the run first and make this young quarterback throw it on them. And if you can, that's great for Douglas. But if you're Scott County, I think you have to prioritize the stopping the run here.
TJ Horton, Devon Hart, and Ty Bryant. It's kind of been by committee. Again, Horton has the most carries with 28 in 4 games, but the 3 of them combined have rushed for 15 of the team's 19 touchdowns. And the backfield itself averages about 7 yards a pop on the ground. Carpenter, 31 for 56 touchdowns, 470 yards. For the Cardinals, Andrew Hickey had a tough time against this team last year twice, but you look at his completion percentage, it's through the roof compared to last year. He's got confidence in his weapons. And this has looked more like the Scott County offense that runs to set up the pass and can run you and can drive the length of the field on you, whereas it couldn't at times last year.
And it's back up to speed. We've talked about it over and over again, but forever, it was ran at such a fast pace and ran so correctly that most of the guys on that defense and people in the stands had no clue where the ball was. And I feel like the last couple of years it hasn't been up to that standard, but Scott County's got it back to that standard, and Andrew Hickey's running the ship very well.
Another thing I feel like Scott County has lacked the past couple of years is depth in the backfield. They haven't been able – if they've had injuries, they've really struggled to fill the void. This year, some guys have gone down, but others have been able to step up. They lost Jacob Fryman for a little bit. Kane Garrett had a 100-plus yard game at fullback last week with a couple of scores. Ali Hamdia has gone down again, and their guys have stepped in. He was a nice weapon to have, but they still have Thomas Fikert. They still have Ellis Hughley. They still got ways to hurt you on the outside. So I feel like there's more of an assortment. It gives Coach McKee a lot more options as long as, and you and I have said this, they've got to stay ahead of the chains, not behind them.
Yeah, and I think every single one of those guys are fighters too. So when you got guys that are going to give every single thing they got to try to put a victory on that board, that helps you a lot more than anything else.
We've tried to paint the picture for you Scott County fans of how it's possible tonight. Certainly Douglas coming in as the heavy favorite. They have won, they've dominated this series since the beginning of the 2019 season. They have been anointed the team to beat in 5A with good reason. As you said, just no shortage of D1 prospects and all over the defense. And, what I've seen with that defense is speed kills. The old expression is true with these guys.
And they have it at all 3 levels. And not only do they have speed, but they got power and strength and pretty much everything you want in a football player. They have it at all 3 levels. So like we mentioned, Scott County has to be perfect in all phases of the game to really make this a game.
Ty Bryant, the UK commit. He's a senior defensive back, kick and punt returner, running back. We mentioned his name. You'll see him in all phases. Also, the young man that's committed to Auburn, His name escapes
Yeah,
me now.
they got a lot of them.
Harkless. He is a stud on this team. Jamarion Harkless. He's a senior, 6 feet, 316 pounds. Hasn't made a lot of tackles this year, but you can see when you look at that size, why not? They just run away from him.
Yeah. And I will say this, Cal, I don't feel like in the last couple years that I don't think Scott County was scared by any means, but maybe didn't have the confidence that we could beat them. And I've talked to several players and coaches from the staff, and they truly believe that we have a good opportunity in this game. So I think they will be ready to play tonight.
You absolutely have to believe if you're Scott County. The only way you have a chance. And I've been on the field for a couple of these games, especially on the road the past few years, and that's been one of Coach McKee's parting words to the team is, look, we've coached you up all week. You've got to believe in your head that you can go out and do this. And until you do that, doesn't matter what I say, doesn't matter what Coach Willard says, doesn't matter what Coach Monty says, et cetera, et cetera. It's got to be up here in the head and in the heart. Scott County will kick off going left to right on your screen or your imaginary radio dial. We thank you for joining us. Cal Oaks, Sam Sutton, Brett Smith in the booth and on the field with the camera. I want to thank DT Wells and, of course, my publisher, Mike Scoggin, as well. Read all about it in the news graphic tomorrow morning online, 24/7 at news-graphic.com.
It's a rare kickoff for Scott County to open up the game.
Be interesting to see what they do with the kickoffs. Yeah. Rodriguez has been able to pin some teams deep, but do you want to kick to the weapons like TJ Horton, who is back there right now, or Ty Bryant? Even if you kick it shallow, Bryant's standing over on his sideline at the 20.
Yeah, I think you just got to kick it as hard as you can, hope for the best.
They will kick it over Bryant's head to the corner. Bryant will go back to his 10, catch it over his shoulder. Good coverage. Can they wrap him up? Yes, they do. Good just tackle. Past the 20. Great team effort by the Cardinals to stop Bryant there. And Douglas will go to work at around the 21-yard line. Cole Carpenter, the quarterback, transferred from Madison Southern, as we mentioned. He is a 6-foot, 190-pound junior. Like we said, he hasn't been in this type of game very much. So if you're Scott County, maybe you try to challenge the run and dare them to throw a little bit.
Yeah, great atmosphere here for Scott County.
Carpenter will come out throwing, juggled but caught on the left side, wrapped up out of bounds as Garner takes down Cameron Dunn after a very short gain, maybe a couple.
Great pursuit there by Scott County's defense, led by Paul Garner.
Paul Garner has had a takeaway in 3 consecutive games. He had a scoop and score on a punt last week. He's had interceptions the 2 weeks before that. You want to watch Elijah Adams, the leading tackler. He is in the middle there, number 1 for the Cardinals. Carpenter will throw it again. He's got lots of time. Now chasing him is Jasante Harmon. He'll have to get rid of it and almost throws an interception there. Is the closest man by far was Elijah Adams over in the right flat.
Yeah, that was almost a coverage sack right there. Scott County in the back end covered that great, and then Jasante Harmon just won a one-on-one with the left tackle right there, and the quarterback thought he was going to get around him, and Jasante just got there too quick for him.
So we kind of called the shot. Douglas not running against Scott County's obvious defensive strength early, which is its strength against the run. Now they've got 3rd and long. Again, a situation they haven't been in very often. But you got to hold them here. 3rd and a long 7. Carpenter looks to throw. He's got time. He rolls to his right. Harmon chasing him again. He's got a man downfield that's deflected and almost picked off. Danny Armstrong was there, makes the play, and the Cards will have to punt. They have a player down. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Kind of a non-contact thing.
Looks like Logan Jones.
Yeah, it is Logan Jones very gingerly getting up. I don't know if he got blocked or what, but I guess it wasn't non-contact. Might have gotten hit in the ribs a little bit.
Again, great coverage by Scott County, but I bet Danny Armstrong wants that back. That hit him right in the hands right there. But either way, great stop for Scott County with a 3 and out to open up this game, and that's exactly what you need.
Douglas back to punt. It's not something that's been said very often. They're coming at it, almost blocked.
I have no clue how they did it.
And that will take not much of a bounce either way and be downed at the Scott County 47. So good field position for the Cardinals to open it up with 10:56 to go first quarter.
I'm baffled that Scott County didn't block that punt.
They were right on top of it, dude.
I don't know. It must have gone through somebody right there. They had 3 guys right on top of it. But either way, great field position for Scott County to open up this first drive.
Douglas came out throwing it on all 3 downs and not much there.
Nope.
Hickey will be under center at his own 47. He'll hand off straight ahead. Spinning to midfield is Fryman. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Minute and 15 seconds in the game. You and I are both out of our chairs. This is probably going to be the trend for the evening. Not easy to sit.
Yeah, I don't think
watching
I'll be
these 2
much.
teams.
Scott County going to a little bit of a spread look kind of here.
The center
2
is
wide
Daniel
receivers.
Daff. He will snap it to Hickey, who tosses it right. Not much there as the closing speed. Hughley on the carry, but man.
That was a great tackle by Ty Bryant.
Bryant came roaring in and stopped him after a yard. 3rd and about 6.
Yeah, he just stopped him right in his tracks right there, and that looked like an SEC safety.
You will be seeing him on Saturdays and potentially Sundays in about 5 years. The level of football in Central Kentucky is sky high right now. A lot of that talent is right on Douglas' roster. They're wearing the white Miami Hurricane jerseys tonight. Hickey will throw. He's got some time, but it's knocked down. He had York in the flat, but the deflection for Douglas, and it'll be a 3 and out for the Cardinals as a good heady play.
Yeah, that was
by number 24.
Yeah. Ivel. That was a great play by him.
He's their leading tackler, Lantonio Ibal. He is a sophomore linebacker, good-looking, 6 feet, 173 pounds.
Yeah, if he doesn't get his paw on that right there, York has some running room. Let him, he easily would have had the first down. He could have got another 20 yards after that. But if you're Scott County right here, you got to play the field position game and try to pin Douglas deep. Scott County looks a little confused. Maybe not enough guys on the field.
Yeah, play clock has wound down all the way to 0.
Got to be a delay game on Scott County.
Buys Christian Rodriguez a little room if he wants to try to put it in the coffin corner. I certainly would not kick it to either Dunn or Bryant, who are standing back there at the 25.
Yeah, they're not very deep. He easily could kick it over their head right here, especially to the left side. He's got plenty of field.
A lot of guys in motion here for the Cards. Interesting to see what they do. I would think they would kick it. You don't want to put Douglas on a short field. You've withstood the storm early. That is a nice punt to the corner. Well placed by Rodriguez. Picked up on the hop by Dunn. He'll only get a return to the 25 before he steps out of bounds. 9:35 to play in the opening quarter. Still no score here at Bird's Nest Stadium between Scott County and Frederick Douglass. Cal Oaks along with Sam Sutton.
Yeah, you definitely would have liked to seen a couple first downs there by Scott County with that great field position, but nothing's hurt. You put them back in their own territory. Put the defense in a good situation.
Carpenter again. This time he will hand off. Up the middle, Horton finds a little space to the 29, gain of about 5, 2nd and 5. TJ Horton, the leading ground gainer with just over 200 yards. Again, Douglas hasn't had to play a full game yet, so their stats on offense pretty deceiving. Horton has rushed for 7 touchdowns. Scott County has won the field position game early here with the kickoff and a punt. At least making Douglas drive the field. Carpenter will fake it, throw deep. He's got his man down there. Can he run under it? Yes, he can. Yes, he will. It is a 71-yard touchdown, Broncos.
That was just a blown coverage by Scott County secondary.
Tylon Webb hauls it in untouched. $8:52 to play first quarter. Douglas breaks out on top. Not the scenario that Scott County wanted or needed.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Scott County was in, press man-to-man coverage, and the corner was with him and then just kind of quit running with him, and he beat him deep on a post. I don't know if he thought he had safety help or what the deal was, but
they looked like they were maybe going to go for two, but Ranvier will kick it. He is in his third year as the kicker, junior, 5'10", 150, got great range. Makes the extra point to make it 7-0. They can do it quickly. You can do all the right things 4 or 5 plays in a row and then get burned, which is what happened. We'll see what Scott County can do to answer. Got to sustain a drive here.
If you're Scott County, though, that's not a demoralizing drive where they just ran it down your throat and you couldn't do anything about it. That was just a blown coverage in the secondary for a long touchdown throw. Give credit to Douglas taking advantage of that, but you still got to feel okay if you're Coach Monty in Scott County.
It's funny when I reflect on the last 2 or 3 years. That's the one thing Douglas was unable to do against Scott County. They took away those bombs from Dane Key. He had a couple of impressive catches in the end zone, but they weren't 71-yard.
Yeah.
Over the top.
I think they'll get that fixed up on the sideline, and they'll be just fine.
It is a correctable situation.
Yeah, definitely. But if you're Scott County's offense right here, you definitely feel like you need to at least get a couple first downs right here and take away a little bit of the momentum from Douglas.
Ranvier to kick off. As we mentioned, he has a habit of putting it through the end zone, making you go 80 yards, and true enough, he will just about put it through the uprights. He'll kick in college somewhere. I see a lot of his recruiting videos, and he makes some 60 and 65-yard field goals in practice. So. Scott County will have 80 yards to go, 8:52 to play, first quarter. 3 and out on their first drive. Douglas went 3 and out on its opening drive, but then the 71-yard touchdown, Cole Carpenter to Tylon Webb, and that's where we're at, 7-0 early. Fikert and Fryman in the backfield behind Hickey. And now we've got a flag. Sideline warning.
Would it be a Scott County football game without a sideline
and
warning?
Not only a sideline warning, but it's got to be in the first 4 minutes of the game. Just right off the bat.
No doubt.
I don't think we've seen a game yet. I'm thinking Franklin County, Bryan Station, both of those. The sideline warning was out of the way early, and here we are tonight. Don't forget next week, Scott County and Great Crossing right back here at Birds Nest Stadium. Same broadcast team. They run it up the middle, do the Cardinals, and Fryman about 3 yards to the 23. It'll be 2nd and 7.
And that's okay if you're Scott County right there.
Actually, they'll mark him at the 24, so that's good yardage on first down, and that's what you got to do. You got to keep softening up the middle a little bit.
Exactly.
The one thing I say they're unable to do. Luke Colvin was able to run up the middle a little bit last year in the playoff game, but the game was already out of hand at that point. Now off right tackle, nothing there. The closing speed, again, is just so much from the white jerseys. Hard to deal with that as E.J. Clinkscale and Tashawn Benford are right there. To stop it for no gain, 3rd and 6. Cards yet to move the chains. 4 minutes gone in this one. Douglas on top, 7-0. Here on the Birds Nest Broadcasting Network, NFHS, and newsgraphic.com. Hickey has thrown it once, incomplete. He'll probably have to throw it again. He has a little bit of time, but he overthrows Hughley past the marker. Would have been a first down if he could have hauled it in, but to no avail. Cards will punt once again, this time from much deeper in their own territory. 7:39 to play first quarter.
Yeah, that's exactly what you didn't need right there. 3 and out. Now you got a punt. They're probably going to get it around the 50.
Again, Ty Bryant back at the 40. You got to choose your poison because Cameron Dunn on the other side.
Yeah, you really need to cover this punt very correctly here. Make this a minimal return.
if you can, angle it toward their sideline. Juggled the snap, got it away, but Dunn's got an awful lot of room over there. He catches it on the fly at midfield, past the 35 to the 30, the 25, the 20, cuts back, he's gone. 51-yard punt return for a touchdown for Cameron Dunn, and the snap is what made that happen. Rodriguez had to hustle to get rid of it, couldn't really put it where I'm sure he wanted to, and there was just nothing but clear real estate over there.
It looked like the coverage right there was all to Ty Bryant to the right, and Rodriguez kicked it straight to the left. That's got to be a breakdown somewhere. But like you mentioned, the snap was low. He kind of just had to get rid of it. The Scott County really had no one out there to the left to defend that.
Ranvier's kick is good, 14-0 Broncos. Baseball, he talked about hit it where they ain't. Rodriguez had to kick where his coverage wasn't, where his coverage ain't, and Dunn made him pay. 50-yard touchdown return, and it is a 2-score game already, barely 4.5 minutes into this one. You talk about best case scenarios off the start, a 3-and-out, and stop Douglas offensively, but since then it's been a pair of worst case scenarios.
Yeah, and if you're Scott County, you can't just fall down and fold right here and just fold it in. You got to fight back, because if you let this thing get out of hand right here, you have another 3-and-out or whatever, it will get out of hand and they'll run you out of the building. So Scott County needs to fight right here, get a few first downs, obviously try to go score a touchdown, but they got to bold their neck a little bit here.
Again, Ranvier will kick it through the end zone. This is not a recording. Scott County will start at its own 20. I'm starting to move into, thank God we don't have to play them in the second week of the playoffs mode, because that's been the case the past few years. If you're just joining us this season, we've talked about it a few times. The rules have changed. The KHSAA is going to do it via RPI all the way through, and that means it will be a little less according to district, which is probably good news for both Scott County and Great Crossing. This team is legit once again.
I'm not really sure what you go to here if you're Coach McKee, but, the few times that they've ran belly, it's gotten you 2 to 4 yards, and
maybe just keep scratching that itch.
Douglas just has so much speed that when we try to run, the sweep or whatever, it's just they just close so quickly. But, you kind of have to run it also. That's your offense.
It's choose your poison.
Yeah.
Do you run at Harkless, or do you run east and west against Bryant, against Clinkscale, etc.?
But putting yourself in manageable situations also help a lot. So we'll see what they do here on first and second down.
We haven't mentioned Isaiah Kenny's name yet either. He's got multiple interceptions on the season, so he's another threat. They will run a toss to the right and get some hay across the 25 to about the 27. So a good gain going away from the line of scrimmage. There's a flag down. As Hughley picked up 7.
Looks like it might be a hold on Scott County.
Yep, that explains. It was a weak holding signal, but I think that's what it was.
Oh, blindside block.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, that's not what it looked like. So it'll be pushed back deeper and deeper.
And the thing is that was called so far behind the play and on the left side.
It didn't benefit the run itself.
Not at all. He was pretty much already tackled when he threw the flag.
10 yards from the spot, or if it's 15, it's marked at the 11 in either case. So it'll be 1st and 19. Eli Lilly split out to the left. In motion is Hughley going that way. They will run Fryman up the middle and get nothing. We talked about staying in front of the chains, and they are behind them right now. 2nd and 19. Call it 18 as they'll give Fryman forward progress to the 12. Douglas crowd has filled in on the other side, as has the Scott County delegation on our side here in the press box. Beautiful night for football, 65 degrees, cloudy. Running east-west again to the left is Hughley, and there's just nothing there as he gets caught from behind.
Yeah, they just have so much team speed on defense.
Latonio Ivial again on the stop along with Corey Gamble.
You know, Cal, you're going to have to punt here regardless. I'd just throw a go route out here to Lilly, and you know if he
gets picked, he gets picked.
If
it gets run back, they're probably going to run back the punt anyway. I'm at the point where I'm at a loss
because they're just playing man-to-man, bump and run, all by himself out there. Pretty much no safety help either. You know, maybe you can get a pass interference or he catches it. And like you mentioned, you know, if he picks it off, it's the same thing as a punt.
There's a lot of choose your poison scenarios as the whistle will blow the play dead.
Well, it looks like that's what we were about to run out here to Isaac York.
Reminiscent of some plays in the past where we played our hand and then voila, the whistle to stop play.
Yeah,
it's going to be against the Cards. Be a delay of game, so back to the 5 because there was a loss of 2 on the prior running play. 3rd and 25, you're going to be punting from your end zone at this point.
Yeah, they got 2 out wide. They got Isaac York out to the right, DeQuise Brown out to the left, both in single coverage.
DeQuise had a score last week, and they throw this way and almost picked. Wasn't anywhere near York, the intended receiver. It was close to Terrion Hicks, but he fell down trying to make the pick. 4th and 25, and Rodriguez just got to get rid of it here.
Yeah, I don't even know.
If you don't, you almost want to eat it and take the safety.
Yeah. Looked like Hickey was thinking he was running a hitch right there, and York was kind of running, I guess, a go route. I don't even know what he was really running because he kind of cut it off. It wasn't a post, but it wasn't a go route, and it definitely wasn't a hitch. So I'm really not sure. Maybe he was running a middle dig. But either way, they weren't on the same page.
You can just see the snowball effect here as Rodriguez gets the punt away. It is caught at the 37, running backwards, and now with some momentum around the corner is Bryant across the 25. He's broken about 5 tackles, eluded a half dozen others, finally brought down by Elijah Adams inside the 20 at the Scott County 18. Douglas will have a short field to work with.
Yeah, when you keep giving them this great a field position, they're going to do that.
5:12 to play in the first quarter, and it's getting out of hand quickly. Douglas up 2 scores, threatening here already at the 18, 1st and 10. And if I'm Douglas, I just go right up top and go for the shot here. And I can't criticize the kids for being demoralized because I'm demoralized. Yeah. We're 7 minutes in. It's just, you just don't see a lot of manageable ways to keep this game close. Carpenter will fake the throw, hand off to Dunn going the other way. Not much there.
I will say this, Cal. Outside of that blown coverage on that long passing touchdown, I don't think the defense
they've defended fine.
No, they
played special teams.
It was a special teams punt return for a touchdown and that long bomb. Outside of that, they had a 3 and out and, not much. So, you definitely don't think Douglas is going to, kick it right here. So they're probably going to go for it. If Scott County can get a stop right here, it's still going to be 14-0 and you're fine. But if it gets to 21, that's when it gets demoralizing.
They do have a kicker who can certainly make it from this distance if they do get stopped. But Dunn's got all kinds of room on the left side. The pass from Carpenter pushed out of bounds just shy of the 10.
Looks like it's going to be about 3rd and 1, maybe 2.
Justin Stevenson pushed Cameron Dunn out of bounds.
Douglas running a hurry-up offense here.
3rd and 2 from the 10. They will run it up the middle, 1st down, and much more down to about the 2. And that's where it'll be stopped. They are hustling. Devon Hart on the carry. Didn't even have time to call his name. He's marked at the 3, ticking down to the 4-minute mark of the first quarter. 1st and goals. They've got 4 chances to punch it in, make it a 21-0 game. Ty Bryant with the short but electrifying punt return to set this up. Hart again breaks through 1 tackle. Goodness. Lunges forward and into the end zone for a Douglas
about
touchdown.
4 tackles right there.
We got flags down, but I think it was after the play.
So
must have been the celebration or something.
Well, maybe that will give Scott County an opportunity to return this kickoff a little bit.
Cooper Ranvier will attempt his 3rd PAT of the opening quarter.
Blocked it.
Who got it? Who's coming at us here?
Yeah.
Looks like maybe.
He'll turn around for us.
Say, is it
10?
Luke
Valencia.
Yep, I was going to say.
That's what you like to see right there. Still giving great effort, down 20-0 here.
Now, they've been down 20-0 once before this season.
Yes, they have.
It's a little different situation.
But you still got to have that belief.
Yeah.
Because like you just mentioned, we've been in that situation 2 weeks ago, and that was at halftime. You know, we still got a lot more football to play. You go down and score right here, it's still just a 2-possession game. You're right back in it. But you got to believe you can do it. Starts with this kickoff right here. Especially with Douglas having to move this ball back to, I believe they're going to have to kick off from the 25. Even though Douglas' kicker has a great leg, this still should give you a great opportunity to have a return right here. And if Scott County's great at anything, it's been special teams over the years.
Just got to get yourself some room, although it's a miracle if you get a chance to return it with this young man kicking it off. He's put 2 through the end zone.
I'll be really impressed if he can put this in the end zone.
Yes, because he is backed up to his 25 after the penalty. And he won't get it there. He'll get it to the 11. Logan Jones is going to be a flag. He gets past the 35.
Oh, he's throwing punches down here. Number 11 for Douglas.
Just took down Paul Garner right in front of us. Isaiah Kenny. I don't see a flag. Yeah, there is a flag there. We'll see who it's on, but
there's definitely probably going to be a block in the back on Scott County.
It may offset.
Yeah, but down here on the.
That might have been after the play. We shall see. Holding on Scott County. declined.
Oh,
I guess both penalties are going to be against Scott County.
I don't know how it's possible after Douglas literally just was punching Paul Gardner on the ground. And right in front of the ref, too. I don't understand that.
It's going to be another long route to the end zone. The Cardinals, who trailed 20-0, 3:31 to go in the first quarter. The ball will be marked. We'll see.
That's unbelievable.
We're going to get illegal use of hands now. They're going to cut the holding.
They're calling a block in the back.
That's what they're calling. 15 yards from the spot, so it'll be at the 19.
That's truly unbelievable.
So it'll end up being more than 80 yards.
Yeah,
it'll be better than a kick through the end zone.
I totally agree that Scott County blocked in the back right there. But for them not to
catch the retaliation.
Yeah. Whatever. Can't do anything about it now. Scott County just has to
find a way.
Exactly.
No first downs yet. 3 touchdowns for the Broncos. Make it 20-zip. Fryman, not much. Couple across the 20 to the 21.
So many bodies right there in the middle.
The biggest one is number 96, Jamarion Harkless.
Yeah, Harkless is just
headed to Auburn.
Stuffing that hole right now. And the guys next to him aren't much smaller.
Harkless at 316. 316 says I stopped you for no gain. Hickey will throw it and get sacked. He wanted to throw it, but guess who was coming in from the back? Harkless. That's a load coming down on you when you're a sophomore. 3rd and a bunch. Call it 14 from the 15.
Yeah, he just didn't have his first and second read just wasn't open.
No, and you just don't have time against this team. That's been the thing. The play action, a lot of things have to be working your way for the play action to work. One of them is down in distance. The other is just sheer time to throw. And you'd hope you had a better chance this year with a senior-dominated line, but Douglas just so big and so quick. They'll try to run it off right tackle and salvage what they can so Rodriguez doesn't have to punt from the end zone. Fikert will get back to past the original line of scrimmage to the 21, 4th and 8. Kenny makes the stop, and the Cards will punt once again.
Yeah, the problem is normally when Scott County's offensive line can give Hickey time on a play action, there's someone normally streaking wide open. He can hit him. But with Douglas, when they give him a little bit of time, every guy that he's throwing to is just covered up. So he almost just has to eat it and has to take that sack.
Rodriguez, good kick. Actually, a fair catch signal there from Dunn, and then he gets taken down. I guess they're going to say the fair catch signal was inadequate. I kind of thought it was too. No penalty. Douglas will start from its 44.
Yeah, again, though, Cal, we're kind of got lucky that he fair caught that ball because the coverage was to the other guy.
He had daylight.
Yeah, the coverage was to Ty Bryan again right there.
I think he sort of started to take off after he caught the ball, regretting the fair catch signal, but you saw it and I saw it.
And if we had someone there, he kind of juggled it. He kind of hit the ground a little bit, and I think that's why we went ahead and tackled him. But either way,
at the 44.
Yeah, I was about to say, at least they're on their own side of the field right now.
That's a moral victory.
Exactly, and you give yourself your defense a lot more room right here.
Carpenter hands off. Horton, right tackle, forward to the 49. Good yardage on first down again. Call it 5, 2nd and 5. Well, it'll be back to 48. So 2nd and 6. They've got a good running back rotation with Horton and Hart.
This is where a takeaway could be very key for Scott County. Give yourself some momentum a little bit.
Because you would be starting near midfield, which would be nice. They started their one drive near there after shutting Douglas down early. Not a lot of room there for Bryant on the end around.
It'll be 3rd and about 3 right here for
Good,
Douglas.
good pursuit by Garner, Adams, Blair, and Collins.
3rd and a long 3, maybe 4.
Big spot for the defense. We won't run this play until the start of the second quarter as the teams will head to their respective sidelines with the game clock winding down. It's been all Douglas, 20-0 at the end of 12 minutes.
And if you're Scott County, you're really not giving yourself much of a chance right here with, being backed up so far, and then you have to punt and they get the ball on your side of the field automatically. At least right here, they got the ball on their own side of the field. You have a 3rd and short around the 50 here. If you can get a stop and make them punt, you should have a lot better field position. You have a lot more room to breathe, and then you can maybe run your offense a little better.
Got to get a stop. They've gotten one tonight. They could not cash it in.
Yeah.
Gave up a long touchdown pass. Tylon Webb, 71 yards. Gave up a long punt return by Cameron Dunn that went to the end zone. Gave up a not that long, but certainly effective and electrifying punt return by Ty Bryant to set up the Devon Hart touchdown, and it is 20-0. Probably the best news was the block PAT by Luke Valencia after that third touchdown, but that's been the warm fuzzy so far for the Cardinals, who are in a big hole.
It doesn't matter if you're Tom Brady or whatever. If you're backed up inside your own 10 every single time, it's going to be hard for you.
Well, and Hickey, again, just not having a lot of time to operate
Exactly.
back there.
So that's what I'm saying. If they can somehow get a stop right here, flip the field a little bit, give yourself a little bit more room, then you can maybe operate your offense at a better pace. Regardless, it's going to be super hard on this Douglas defense. But you got to give yourself the best opportunity and chance that you can. And right now, Scott County's not doing it with penalties and field position.
Scott County has run 12 plays for 10 yards. Frederick Douglass has run 11 plays for 105. They've also returned it 76 total yards, including a score. You mentioned the penalties, 4 for 29 for SC, 1 for 15 for Douglas. Scott County does not have a first down. Douglas only has 2. You mentioned the defense has played okay for sure, but again, the short fields. Bryant, first down, dragging would-be tacklers to the Scott County 41.
You don't see a lot of guys bounce off Elijah Adams like that.
No, you don't. Certainly didn't for the first 4 weeks of the season, as he's been the leading tackler, and a lot of them for loss. He and Harmon came in with 12.5 combined in that category. Harmon got some good pressure on Carpenter early, but Douglas has been able to counter with the running game a little bit and get it going. Once again in Scott County territory are the Broncos. Carpenter, a little play fake and a throw to the tight end. Just pancakes a Scott County tackler, knocked Armstrong down inside the 30. Thomas Howard, there's another. He'll go D1 in something. Baseball, probably.
Yeah, he's already committed to Louisville baseball. But, I mean, that's a hard tackle there for Danny Armstrong in open field. And he slowed him down to the best of his ability and let Buddy Collins come up and finish it.
Another hurry-up play for the Broncos. Now they'll fake it and look to the sideline and reset.
Looks like they're going to bring Ty Bryant back into the backfield here.
It is Bryant. Tried to get away from the ankle tackle, but good effort there. Armstrong got some revenge that time as he made at least half the stop. Valencia was there as well, and Adams.
There just hasn't been one time that he's just gone down on a tackle.
No, he's just too strong.
He's either going to bounce off or, keep his balance. It's going to be at least 2 to 3 guys tackling him every single time.
Got him for a TFL there, 2nd and 11 at the 29 of Scott County. Carpenter, quick throw to the left, done. Cross the 25, juking and making guys miss down to the 21. 3rd and short once again.
See right there, Cal. Scott County got called on the legal block when Ellis Hughley had the longest run we've had.
Looked like a
And there
similar
was
situation.
there was no difference in that block right there on the edge.
Dunn gains 9. Carpenter with lots of time to throw. Timing pattern back of the end zone. Touchdown. 21 yards. Oh, there's a flag down here.
I think it might be a late hit on Harmon.
Tylon Webb is, if it stands, it's his 2nd touchdown catch of the half. Personal foul against Douglas.
Oh, okay, good. I thought they were going to get Harmon on a late hit right there. I'm not really sure what happened. Well, that's your first break if you're Scott County.
It is, because it's a big one, 15 yards from the spot, from the line of scrimmage.
Doesn't look like they've marked it off yet. I don't see what the holdup here is.
Maybe a discussion over there on the Douglas sideline, but it wasn't an offsetting situation.
No, it was during the play.
Okay,
there they go.
So it'll become 3rd and long.
And I'm not sure who that was over there on the left side in coverage, but it was pretty good coverage. He made a great play on the ball. Just Douglas came down with it in the back of the end zone. But I think if you're Coach Monty, you stick to this defense. You play man-to-man, cover one, and try to take away this run and just hope your defensive backs can win some one-on-ones right here.
3rd and 23 from the Scott County 41. So definitely the most negative down and distance situation that the Broncos have been in all night.
If you're Scott County, you definitely have to get a stop right here. You can't give up a first down.
Carpenter with lots of time. Harmon coming in, knocked him down, and it gets picked off by Elijah Adams. On the return to the 45, first big break for the Scott County defense. With 9:35 to play in the quarter, a flag down over at the 50-yard line toward the Broncos sideline. We'll see what it is.
That was huge right there. Jasonte Harmon hit him as he was trying to throw a deep pass. And Elijah Adams caught the deflection for an interception there. Another flag on Scott County.
Was it after it was on the return?
I'm guessing it was, an illegal block again or holding maybe. Yeah, blocking the back. Well, that kills your field position a little bit, but at least you're out of your own end zone.
Still a change of possession.
Yep. Yeah, and that takes, Douglas off the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, they were headed in to really drive another nail into this thing, and now it's still 20-0, and you get a chance to put it together a drive here. You're not on your 20. You're not inside your 20. You're at the 38.
Exactly.
Get yourself a little field position. Now see what you can do with it.
See if Scott County maybe take a shot right here.
I still think you got to continue to try to establish Jacob Fryman a little bit. That's been your most successful offense tonight.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But if they keep playing man-to-man out here, bump and run with no safety help, you got to attempt it at least once.
Toss to Fikert. There's just nothing on that when you're running east-west against the Broncos.
When they have that many good athletes and that great of players, and they have 9 to 10 guys in the box, running east to west isn't going to do much with them.
Isaiah Kenny and Antonio Avial. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. So they're moving forward at least.
Yeah.
Less than a yard per play so far tonight for the Cards, uncharacteristic. But we've seen it in this series that they've struggled to move the ball, and the same is true tonight. Fryman, not much there, but moves the pile to the 43, 3rd and 5.
Yeah, Scott County has just struggled a little bit tonight with explosive plays. It's not so much that they're getting behind the chains, but it's just kind of, a gain of 1 or 2 pretty much every time, and they've been in 3rd and long almost every 3rd down.
Guess it was Kane Garrett there instead of Fryman. So as we mentioned, Garrett was the primary carrier against Dunbar last week when Fryman was kind of nicked up a little bit. 3rd and 6.
Scott County having 2 out wide again.
Hickey Had time, but overthrew his man. Good coverage there as well. It was 23 on 23. Brown, the intended receiver. The defense from Jeremiah Lowe. One of those names we haven't mentioned, but again, just another playmaker on that defense. Scott County will be forced to punt again, so they can't do anything with the Elijah Adams interception except maybe flip the field a little bit. 8:07 to play in the first half. 20-0 Douglas. Cal Oaks along with Sam Sutton. Here at Bird's Nest Stadium, battle of 5A unbeatens, all Douglas so far. Christian Rodriguez to punt. They will set up the return. Bobbled and muffed at the 29 and falling on it at his own 27 is Bryant. So a break there for the Cards. Anytime they don't run it back is a break. So Douglas will start at its own 27-yard line. 7:59 to play second quarter. They lead 20-zip. Cards got a takeaway on the last series. Still don't have a first down.
Yeah, you just got to keep playing hard defense right here. Try to keep it 20-0. Oh,
now what?
They're gonna call offsides.
First and 5. That's the one thing you can't do against this team is
definitely not
make it easier for them to move the chains. Although we saw one big chunk play early, the 71-yard bomb to Tylon Webb. Webb had a second touchdown wiped out by a personal foul, and eventually the takeaway for Scott County stopped that drive. Here's a spinning run to the 35. TJ Horton will make it 2nd and 3. Harmon's been active in this game with the pass rush. He makes the tackle there on the run. Scott County has some studs that we've mentioned their names a couple of times. There's just so many on that other side of the field that it's been tough to keep pace. Carpenter throws right, well covered, wrapped up and thrown down there by Buddy Collins, but the catch was past the stick. It'll be a first down.
And, the thing is, Cal, I think our Scott County's defense has played pretty. Outside of that long throw, has played pretty great in this game. The score really doesn't indicate how well they've played. It's just on the offensive end, like you mentioned, we don't even have a first down, and you want to have all the answers, but in reality, there's really not much we can do. Maybe try to challenge them down the field, but in our offense, that's just not what we do. So, like we're saying, there's what do you do?
Incomplete pass on first down makes it 2nd and 10. So that helps.
Yeah, like I said,
get that going for him, which is nice.
Yeah, I think the defense is playing pretty great, honestly.
Yeah.
Outside of that long throw, they've played as good as you could have hoped.
The other 2 touchdowns were basically the result of punt returns, one directly and one indirectly, set up by it. There's a run up the middle.
Be 3rd and long right here.
It's Horton again.
This Scott County defense has given me a lot of hope, not only for this game, but in the future.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be what you can hang your hat on if it stays 20-0 till the half.
Starts with this play right here. They can get a stop on 3rd and 8 right here.
Little middle screen and all kinds of room for Thomas Howard across midfield.
That was a great
to the
play.
45. Well designed by the Broncos there.
That was a great play by Frederick Douglas.
It had been set up well by the run. We've seen Howard make a couple of catches now, but he had daylight and then some right through the heart of the defense. Parting of the seas. It's at the Scott County 45. 6:01 to play in the half. Lateral almost to Horton. He will take it to his sideline and out of bounds at the 37, close to the marker. It'll be 2nd and a yard or maybe 2 And they'll mark it at 39. So call it 2nd and 3.
They bring a lot of those just bubble screens out there tonight. I guess just trying to get Carpenter some easy throws.
Yeah, I mean, he made the pitch and catch to Webb look good, and he threw a frozen rope to the end zone that didn't count. But for the most part, they're keeping it short. You're right. There's going to be a flag.
There's going to be a hold.
It's definitely in the area of holding on the Broncos.
I don't know who that was out there on the edge for Scott County, but they literally got bear hugged.
So the penalties are helping the Cards a little bit now. They hurt themselves early with the laundry, but lately it's been on Douglas.
Yeah. At least they're calling it both ways. Because we've definitely been a part of a few games that hasn't been like that.
Second and 11 with 5:14 to play in the second quarter. Another run and some room.
Ooh, good tackle by
Bryant,
Buddy Collins.
and Buddy Collins paid the price, but stopped Bryant in the open field at the 39, where it'll be 3rd and 3.
Bryant shaking up a little bit on that tackle.
Yeah, Collins brought him down hard. Actually, they'll mark it at the 40.
Looks like he's going to be okay. He's coming off the field.
Going to go off for a play at least.
Timeout, Scott County.
Running off at a fairly brisk pace, so I think he'll be fine. You're right. This defense rising to the occasion. They've taken away that deep stuff, and Douglas has had to nickel and dime a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like we've mentioned 100 times, it's not like Douglas is just throwing bomb after bomb or running it down their throat for a bunch of chunk plays and they're just blowing us out. You take away a punt return touchdown and a 75-yard touchdown throw that was in a blown coverage, this game's 7-0.
Right.
So, I mean, granted, we're not doing anything on offense, but this defense is keeping Scott County in the game and doing their part.
Another takeaway wouldn't hurt.
No doubt. And, we had seen throughout the first few weeks of the year that we thought this defense had really taken a jump, but we kept saying, well, what are they going to do against Douglas or a Ballard or whatever? And I think they're answering our questions right now.
Yep. Now some young playmakers, they've just got to create some space for them offensively. Here's some space for Douglas, a first down and more for Devon Hart to the 25. So third down conversions continue to go well, especially in 3rd and short for the Broncos.
Yeah, Scott County came with a safety blitz right there off the edge, and it looked like it was Dameron, hit him in the backfield, just couldn't bring him down. And once he got past him, there was a lot of green grass.
Carpenter high snap, gets it down, hands it off to Hart. A lot of room up the middle again. First down inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal at the 7. Paul Garner makes the stop there, but the Broncos have got some momentum going again.
Yeah, it's starting to wear down on this defense, especially with Douglas going hurry up right here. Another handoff. Good tackle by DeShante Harmon in the backfield.
DeShante Harmon's had himself a half. He's pressured the quarterback. He forced an interception. Makes some nice plays in the run game here and hoping to keep Douglas out of the end zone. If you can hold him to a field goal, technically you're still within 3 scores.
And that would just be psychologically a win.
Right. I mean, you don't feel like going down 27-0 before the half.
Exactly.
Inside the 5 again.
It's going to be about the 4, 3.5. 3rd and goal for Douglas. Looks like they're going to call a timeout, talk it over.
2 chances to punch it in here if they choose to do so. Of course, they have one of the better kickers in the state, as we've mentioned a couple of times. It is certainly pinned Scott County in the field position game tonight. What's your play here if you're Douglas on 3rd and goal, knowing that you might be able to go for it on 4th?
Yeah, I mean,
I've got to like something with the tight end, with Howard being such a weapon.
Especially with they're so innovative, they almost run kind of a college offense. Maybe run an RPO with Carpenter and have Thomas Howard kind of leak out from that tight end
Jump
position.
pass.
Yeah. Or, you got 2 options at it. You're on the 3.5. You've gotten some yardage on the run game on this last drive. You put Ty Bryant back there, which doesn't look like he's in.
Could be interesting to follow that, because I don't know that he's been in since that tackle from Buddy Collins. I think I see him over there.
Yeah, it looks like they're going a 2 tight end heavy set right here.
Getting a drink of water. He's walking fine over there, just kind of catching his breath still, I think.
Looks like they're going to try to hammer this right side pretty hard with this 2 tight end set. But they also have one-on-one on both corners here.
Hart gets the carry up the middle, right at the heart of the Scott County defense. He won't punch it in. It'll be stopped short at the 1. 4th down.
Well, you definitely know they're going for it.
Yeah, I don't think you gain anything by kicking a field goal here if you're Douglas. Worst case scenario, you make Scott County go 99 yards.
Exactly.
And they don't have a lot of time, under 3 minutes.
First thing, if you're Scott County, you got to watch the ball. And then second, I think you just kind of got to bring an all-out blitz. If they throw it on you, they throw it on you.
Bringing in the heavy package on defense. Daff in at nose guard. High snap, hand off the Hart. A lot of room up the middle. It closed up quickly. Did he get in?
Yeah, they're giving it to him.
They're announcing him as Devon Gibron. I don't know if he's had a name change. He's Devon Hart on the roster.
Got a Scott County player down in the end zone. I'm afraid that might be, well, I don't want to speculate. I'm not sure who it is.
I don't know if it's Keller or Daff. It's a big body.
Yeah. Is Daff 51?
Daff standing up.
Yeah,
he just
so
ran
he's
back out there.
Yeah, so it must be Keller.
We've seen him be slow to get up a couple of times this year. You hope it's nothing serious. 2:28 to play in the half. It is Keller. And he's up on his feet. Walking off gingerly.
Holding is Ty Bryant.
Bryant is back in the game, holding for Ranvier. Kick is up and good, 27-0. 2:28 to go in the first half. Douglas just kind of wore down the Scott County defense on that drive a little bit. A couple of chunk plays.
Yeah, I mean, when you're out there the whole first half, you're eventually going to get worn down, especially when they have such great players on the other side. I thought Scott County had held up pretty amazingly up till that point. And even till that point, I thought they held up pretty good. They just, a lot of third downs on that drive. Just Douglas just kept getting those third down conversions, and those wear on you.
3rd and short, they've been able to handle. 3rd and long, a couple of times Scott County's had them there. They've been able to have some success.
And on that drive, remember, that was the drive with that tight end screen to Thomas Howard right there.
That was the key play.
Yeah, you take that away, Scott County gets that stop around midfield. You never know, but it was a great draw up by Frederick Douglass and led to a touchdown.
That kickoff won't make it to the end zone. It'll be taken on a hop at the 6. Good return out to about the 30.
That was DeQuise Brown.
That was Queese, number 23.
They've been having Buddy Collins back there. I don't know if they just wanted to make a switch or what the deal was.
He got a little, knocked. The wind knocked out of him a little bit on the hit of Bryant, too, I think.
Yeah. Again, Cal, I mean, Elijah Lilly's bump and run coverage, no safety over the top. At some point, I just think you got to at least challenge it because you're not getting more than 3 yards on a run. Like, I thought that run right there, that sweep to Hughley, was blocked pretty decently, and they just came swarming down for maybe a 2-yard gain right there.
The windows slammed shut pretty quickly against this Bronco defense. Under 2 minutes. Scott County will receive the second half kickoff at least. So if they can't do anything here, they'll get a chance out of the locker room. There's a fumbled snap. Hickey tries to fall on it. Let's hope to goodness that he did. 3rd down.
I'm surprised Frederick Douglass isn't calling timeout. But I guess with the 27-point lead, maybe they just want to go ahead and go into halftime as well.
Looks like Nate Hall might have recovered it. Alert play by the senior. Mentioned this senior line. They just need to get some sort of push going here. Hall, Miracle, Daff, Carpenter, and Rodriguez, the sophomore. Hickey, Fikert almost ran into him, and that ball is just way overthrown.
That's been a couple different times.
Or Hughley.
Hickey and the wide receiver hasn't been on the same page.
No.
Hickey thought that Ellis was going to run a wheel route right there, and Ellis cut it off on a hitch. Same thing kind of happened, but vice versa with York in the first quarter.
This defense just speeds up everything in your brain if you're Hickey or if you're his receivers. It's like playing the first 4 games kind of on a regular setting, and then you're on the Madden, super pro setting for this game. The time is just of the essence. You don't have much. Rodriguez almost blocked. Good punt, though. Flag down. Lots of room for Bryant across midfield. He'll cut it back this way. Still on his feet inside the 40, but we'll see.
It should come back.
Yeah, then the laundry was down early. It was even before the return started.
That normally means a hold. Yeah, it was a hold.
So that'll leave the Broncos with a long ways to go and only 47.8 seconds to get there. We'll see what they do.
They can definitely do it, though. So
we've seen it in one play tonight.
Yeah, you got to be definitely alert if you're Scott County's defense. You can't just think they're going to try to run this clock out or maybe take a knee. You got to definitely be ready. Especially if they hadn't, that return had a stand, they were definitely going to try to score a touchdown there. Now this definitely helps Scott County's defense.
They'll start from their own 35,
but that hasn't stopped them in this game or in years past. So
no. Now it'll back up a little further.
Well,
where are we at now?
Yeah, maybe there were
couple of penalties.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they just marked
that
off
all the way back to 24, so that could affect your decision making.
Yeah, they might take a knee now, or just run it up the middle. But that was about 30 yards they just took away there.
Now we've got whistles.
Referees want to talk about it.
Some time ran off the clock there. But if they don't see it, that's okay.
That might be what it is. Ref saw it.
Communicating something to Coach D over here. I don't know what it was. Clock still says 44.1. Yeah, they're trying to signal.
Yeah,
they're trying to signal add time. Sign language.
48, I think, is what they're trying to get it to.
It was 47 point something, and that's where they're heading back towards that number, it seems.
I'm not sure where the clock guy is, or I'd let him know myself.
Yeah, he's signaling over here, but I thought the clock was in the other room there. I don't know.
Well, they still haven't fixed it.
Clock is not cooperating.
Yeah, no, it doesn't want to. The clock doesn't want to reset, I guess. Technical difficulties here at Bird's Nest Stadium.
We're going to have to keep it down there on the field with the white hat.
That'll be fun. Or you could just.
Well, I believe they tried to say.
You could just take a couple of knees here for God and country and send us to the locker room.
Yeah, the press box tried to announce that they'll count to 4 and then start the clock once the play starts. Because that's all. They only need 4 seconds put back on, but apparently it's not working. And it doesn't really seem like the referees are
in any sense of urgency to get it to work.
Are comprehending that.
A lengthy delay, to say the least, here in the final minute of the first half. Now they've got things straightened out. I guess they are going to keep it on the field. Maybe just hold the clock for 3 seconds. I don't know. That's what they're doing. Carpenter throws it quickly to the right. A lot of room. First down and more across the 40 to midfield. Garner trying to drag down Tate Johnson. Finally does. And the clock's still at 44.1. So you can't tell me that only took 3 seconds. So now the clock doesn't want to move at all. And Johnson is slow to get up.
Scott County, Frederick Douglass called timeout.
Douglas now will definitely try to score. They are on Scott County's side of the field.
And now we don't know what the actual time is because now they're keeping it on the field.
Yeah.
I believe he just signaled 33.
Yeah, he's communicating it. That play had to take 10 seconds.
At least.
Because it was kind of a quick
screen. There was a tunnel screen, and then he got held up for at least a few seconds. And
then Garner spent 2 or 3 seconds trying to drag him down.
Exactly. Well, they're running.
Oh, now they're running. Now the clock's moving. Somebody must have spilled some water on it or something. Now it's dried up. There you go. All right, 35.6. Close enough?
I'd run it down a little more. You're the home 30,
30's good.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Maybe get it to 32 or who knows.
1 week from tonight, folks. What would look to be a more competitive game. Scott County, Great Crossing. Battle of the Birds. Warhawks will be 5-0. Cards will more than likely be 4-1. This place will be packed. Sam and I will be here. Please join us if you can't be here in person. Ball at the Scott County 47, 35.6 seconds, we think, to go here in the first half. Got to watch Thomas Howard as he's kind of lined up offset from the line. Now he's in motion. Carpenter fakes to his running back. He goes over the top to Dunn. He had him wide open, steps out of bounds at the 30 to stop the clock with 28.4 seconds left.
That was a good ball there by Carpenter. Got it over the linebacker dropping and in front of the safety.
You can see him gaining confidence. We said at the top of the broadcast, maybe he hadn't been in a game like this. And early on, maybe you saw the happy feet a little bit and the nerves, but he's stepping and throwing now.
Yeah, it definitely helps having a 27-point lead.
Definitely helps having all these guys around you, too.
Yep.
Make plays. He's got all kinds of time. Looks for his man on the sideline. He overthrew it there.
Yeah.
Don't think that's going to be caught out of bounds.
There's still 22 seconds left. That's
2nd and 10 from the 30, but yeah, the clock is the most important element right now, 22.8. Not a lot ran off on that play.
No, and they still got 2 timeouts.
Carpenter, little inside handoff draw play to TJ Horton. He gets to the 23. They'll use one of those timeouts here with 14.8 seconds.
That was actually a pretty good play call there, but I believe it was Cam Keller just was still right there, fought off his block, and made him make a move, gave the linebacker enough time to get there.
Scott County defense looks a little gassed, understandably.
Yep.
They have been, as you said, on the field for most of the half. Did a real good job early. Special teams contributed heavily to 2 of the first 3 scores. But
Scott County still doesn't have a first down, am I right?
you are correct, sir.
So they've been out there most of this first half.
The time of possession in the first quarter was 7:23. See, that's not right. It might be. It says Scott County had it for 7:23 in the first quarter. I'm not necessarily buying that, although Douglas scored quickly and had a 3 and out, and had a punt return. So that could be. But for all intents and purposes, that defense has been on the field the whole second quarter. Carpenter's going to get hit by Harmon. Fumble, ball on the ground. Covered by Douglas.
Well, at least it kept them off the scoreboard right there.
It'll be 27-0 at the half, but you're right. That's a moral victory. They don't go to the running clock in the first half like they have on everybody else this year. And again,
and as much as that, you can say that's a break for Scott County, at the same time, you know how easily that could have just squirted away. We scoop and score for a touchdown. Instead,
right.
Douglas falls on it. It's the end of the half. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great play by Scott County's defense, especially by DeSante Harmon, who's just been a one-man wrecking crew. But there just hasn't been that play to, even when we've gotten the interception or whatever, we can't, break it. But like I said, this score does not represent how well this defense has played, in my opinion.
No, the score doesn't tell the story of how well the defense has played.
I think Coach Monty's had a great game plan.
Team 1 who runs towards Scott County end zone is Joshua Riviera and Ryan Claiborne. And Team 2 is running toward the Great Crossing side.
It's been more, other than the punt return and, of course, the big pass play early, it's been death by 1,000 paper cuts, really. It's just been third down conversions and bubble screens and middle screens and tunnel screens. Quick outs to Dunn.
And on Scott County's end, there's just been nothing.
No, as you said, 0 first downs. I don't think it's even been close. I mean, 3rd and 5 might have been the shortest, maybe 3rd and 4.
And I know I beat it to a dead horse, but I think you just got to at least attempt to try to open it up a little bit, air it out, deeper down the field. I feel like when we have, it's kind of been, hitches or a 5-yard out or whatever. And if they just keep consistently playing man-to-man bump and run with no safety over the top, I feel like you got to at least challenge that once or twice.
Just no dang time to throw, though. That's the problem.
And that's fair, but a two-step fade is the easiest pass to throw in football, and Hickey has enough time to do that. And like I said, it could easily not work either, but I think at some point you got to try something different. Because just, getting no gain or 1 or 2 yards of carry is kind of demoralizing this offense and the team.
Douglas, 245 yards. Scott County, 14. First downs, 10-0. Passing yards, 171-0. Yep.
Makes sense.
Time of possession, 15:01 to 8:59. Third down conversions, 4 of 8, 0 of 6. It's one of those you just take the picture and post it because it's the tail of the tape tells the whole story.
I would like to know the last time Scott County didn't have a first down in the first half of a football game.
Probably never.
I was about to
probably
say,
not in the McKee era.
I would probably guess the exact same thing.
I mean, even I'm thinking back to the last 3 years against Douglas. They found a way to steal one.
And I feel like, the score might be a little out of hand at this point, but if you can somehow scratch across a couple first downs, if you're Scott County, that gives you a little more confidence. That can wear on Douglas's defense a little bit. I like we just talked about, they haven't had a first down, so they haven't had to, breathe heavy, really.
No.
They haven't, you know what I'm saying? And this whole offense for Scott County is based around misdirection, making you breathe hard. You have no clue what's coming. You run it down their throat. And Douglas just hasn't had to face that yet. So it's been easy for them. But, if you can just get a few first downs, then maybe you can open up your offense. Maybe those lanes start opening up a little bit more. Ellis or Thomas or Jacob Fryman or whoever can maybe start finding some lanes and, just give this offense some momentum and some help. And for this Scott County defense, it will help them a lot too because, like we mentioned, they've been out on the field this whole first half. It will give them some rest. It will give them something to play for. I mean, I never really had to go through it, but, when you're out there on defense, you're on the defensive side and your offense is just getting stuffed every down. It's kind of like, well, why do we keep going back out here if our offense can't even get a first down? And I'm not saying that's what Scott County's doing, but that can easily happen to a team.
The defense got a stop on the very first series of the game, 3 and out, forced a punt. Couldn't do anything with it. Very next series, Douglas went up top, 71 yards. Tylon Webb from Cole Carpenter.
Yeah, but I mean, this defense has an interception off of Dasani Harmon sack, and then right there at the end, another sack by Harmon that forced a fumble that Douglas just fell on going into halftime.
Garner, Harmon, Collins, Adams, to name a few, have been outstanding. Valencia as well, blocked PAT, along with his defensive contributions.
We've talked about it a lot throughout this year, but I believe, and they've proven it throughout the year, but this defense and this team goes as Harmon and Adams goes, in my opinion. When they're healthy and when they're playing the best, this defense is very hard to score on, especially when Paul Gardner's leading that secondary. And, we're seeing it right now. Frederick Douglass is leading the state in scoring offense, and in one of their games they didn't even play. They won by a forfeit. And for Scott County to, in my opinion, really Douglas has scored probably 1 or 2 meaningful touchdowns I feel like they really scored on Scott County's defense.
Yeah, they drove the field. Let's see what their scoring drives have been. 2 for 76, 4 for 18. The last one was 13 plays for 72 yards.
And, yeah, they drove it on Scott County, and I feel like that was a very meaningful touchdown. But, I think Scott County's proving that they have a very, very good defense.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, Ballard's tough, Catholic's tough, there's no question. But I don't believe either one of those are on Douglas level. So if your defense plays this well tonight, you've given yourself the confidence that you can go into those games and win. I believe if your offense can do anything at all, you'll give yourselves a shot.
There's pretty much, no matter the class, no matter what region of the state you're in, you're not going to play another team that has this many athletes and this many great football players with this type of coaching. Maybe outside of a Trinity or a Male, but even them, I feel like Douglas has better players this year.
Yeah.
So, if your defense is looking this well, they can stop anybody, in my opinion. And your offense isn't going to look this bad against anybody else. So, I know you're down 27-0 at halftime, but you got to feel decent in some areas of this this game.
Well, let's shift gears a little bit now that we've broken down this one and talk a little bit about next week. It's the game we've all been waiting for since they met twice last year in a couple of barn burners. Scott County, Great Crossing, you and I will be back here again next week. And, it's a similar situation. Scott County's got a couple more wins under their belt. They've avenged those losses to Franklin County and Bryan Station. Until tonight, we're undefeated. Great Crossing 5-0 for the second year in a row. You look at the computer rankings, the polls, seems like the rest of the state feels like Scott County is the favorite going into that one. Certainly Great Crossing has got to feel good about its chances after last year, keeping both those games close, and has to feel like they left a few things on the table. And by the same token, Scott County, a lot of mistakes in those two games that they've got to feel like they can correct. What are your thoughts a week ahead of schedule?
Yeah, I definitely think Scott County is the favorite going into that game. I think Scott County's played the tougher schedule, but
no question about that.
Yeah, but Great Crossing has taken care of their business, and they have a good quarterback. And we've mentioned Scott County having kind of that chip on their shoulder, beating teams that beat them last year and everything, and they've done that up till this point. Great Crossing hasn't beat Scott County since they've been a school, so they're definitely going to want to come in here in front on their home field in front of a huge sellout crowd to finally get that first win. But I think Scott County has taken a big jump since last year, in my opinion, and I'm not so sure about Great Crossing, but I think Scott County will definitely be ready for that game. But Great Crossing will be ready to play as well.
I just feel like whatever the over under is on that game, bet the under.
Yeah.
The defense
Two good defenses.
Both teams are predicated on their defense. I think it's fair to say. Great Crossing has certainly been able to put some drives together and get their offense in gear the past couple of games, as has Scott County until tonight. Obviously, some extenuating circumstances considering, namely, the opponent there. But, just both defenses. Ryan Fisher committed to West Virginia, and he's got a lot of help. He's had, no matter what you throw at a Ryan Fisher, those guys around him have been able to make plays. Drake Bird in the secondary.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple guys over there that Scott County, would welcome with open arms, but same thing with them. It's just how it is now with the split school. But they definitely have some players over there that can play some football. So, like you mentioned, probably take the under.
Yeah. Last year both games were, I think, 14-6 and 21-19 or something like that.
Yeah, very close games.
And low scoring.
Yeah, especially in rivalry games like that. Just anything can happen. And
I'm not expecting to see 45-42 next week, put it that way.
No. But like we mentioned, with maybe Great Crossing's schedule not being the greatest, maybe we'll see how good that defense is against Scott County's wing tee. But if anyone should be able to stop it outside of Douglas, it should be the team right across the street.
Right.
They know exactly what it is.
They will have had an extra week of preparation. They had
coming off their bye, right?
Coming off the bye. Their defense has allowed, it's fewer than 10 points per game now. Had a shutout, had a couple other games where the shutout went away late. So, as you say, you can only play the teams that are in front of you, and they have handled their business.
Exactly.
To go 5-0.
And you can't fault them for that.
No, Scott County has, last year, your schedule can go one of two ways. Scott County both teams played the same schedule last year. Last year, Scott County just ran into a buzzsaw in Franklin County, ran into a buzzsaw quarterback in Cutright, lost on basically the final play of the game, and came in at 2-3. I don't think, by and large, maybe they've stepped it up a little bit on offense. Certainly the defense, as you said, I think has taken the bigger jump since last year, and we will see what they can do against I think just like any other game, time of possession is going to be crucial. Scott County is going to need to sustain drives. Great Crossing is going to need to sustain drives and find a way to get it in the end zone. And I think anytime you can get a lead in a rivalry game, you can pin your ears back a little bit defensively.
Yeah, we talked a lot about those previous losses that Scott County had last year, and this year it felt like they had finally learned how to win, which last year they didn't. And in that Great Crossing, both those Great Crossing games, that was the opposite. Those were about the only 2 games that Scott County did win, when it was super close, when it was kind of like it could go either way. So I'm interested to see how much they add on that. Because I definitely know Scott County's not going to want to lose that streak of being unbeaten against them. And Great Crossing definitely wants to end that streak. So it will definitely be a great game.
Both games were kind of mistake-filled last year.
Yep.
And again, sometimes you see that the emotions kind of get the best of you sometimes. And, I think the team that can certainly minimize that. And
it's definitely going to be emotional. I mean, there's no love.
No, I mean, it's you play. Some of these guys are teammates growing up, and certainly you see them all the time.
And not only that, but, just like when I was in school and when my dad was in school and, all the way back, it was just, you have your middle schools, and then freshman year, you all come together and you become best friends and you're one high school. And now it's not like that. Now it's kind of like, hey, come play at Scott County, or hey, come play at Great Crossing. So it's even a rivalry in middle school now, where it's kind of, you have to win out there on the field to say, come play for a winner, or come play for the best school in this county, or whatever it may be. It's bragging rights with your buddies, with your school, with your community, with pretty much everything. So this game is very important to both sides.
Something that has happened in a lot of other counties in Kentucky where there has been population growth. It just happened here a little bit later. So it's something we're all getting used to, and it's not gonna. I don't think that game will disappoint on any level. I think if you're here next Friday night, you're going to be entertained, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be an old school defensive Donnybrook is what I'm expecting. So this one, 21-27 rather, to nothing, Douglas. A little wishful thinking there. Anyway, what can Scott County do? They're going to get the ball first here.
Yeah.
What do you do with the ball? It's easier said than done. You got to get a first down, then get another one, then you got to get another one. But what can you do differently, if anything?
Well, look, Scott County's probably going to get it right here at the 20 because they're going to kick it out of this end zone. So you're going to be in decent field position. You're not going to be pinned back. Obviously, like we mentioned, the first thing is you got to stay ahead of the chains, no penalties. I've mentioned it a lot, but I think you kind of have to, if you have confidence in Hickey, which I think they do, and they've shown us throughout the year, and the coaches have told us they do, I think you have to try to air it out a little bit. And I'm not, maybe a 5-yard out or whatever, but Douglas has 9 to 10 guys in this box every single down. And I know you run the wing T, so that's why they are, but you got to spread them out a little bit, because if you don't, those sweep plays aren't going to work because they're already so close down on the perimeter or on the line of scrimmage that they're hitting us in the backfield, without us even being able to get a blocker out there. And then, they got the nose stopper down in the middle, so the belly's not really working either.
Now, Fryman 4 carries, 11 yards. Fikert
Yeah.
3 for 9. Garrett 1 for 2. Hughley 3 for 1. I mean,
and like we mentioned, it's not like they've been behind the chains a lot. It's just been 1 to 2 yard gains on everything. So on third down, it's 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 6, and it's just, with that good of a defense, there's not many plays for us to run to get 6 yards right now. So I guess the main thing I would say that you can kind of control is get more chunk yardage on 1st and 2nd down to give yourself a better 3rd and manageable, to where it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3, instead of 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. Because then you have, especially in the wing tee, you have a lot more plays that you can work with. And then you'll probably have another down to work with. If you're 4th and 1, you might consider going for that a lot better than if it's 4th and 8. So I think the main thing that they have to do right here is try to get more chunk plays on 1st and 2nd down, get it more 3rd and manageable. And again, that's a heck of a lot easier said than done, especially against this great defense that Douglas has.
Scott County, according to the stats, had the ball for 9 minutes and ran 23 plays, 18 plays, 13 runs and 5. That's just, we talked about tempo, and
it's hard to run tempo when you're 3rd and 8.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying anything that Coach McKee doesn't know. He knows that offense like the back of his hand. He's about as good as it gets at running that offense. So, I'm honestly not sure what else we can do different. But obviously something needs to be done, and if not, then Douglas might not come close to losing this whole year if no one can drive it on them like that.
I mean, I know 5A is deep, but boy, I'd tip my hat to anybody else in 5A that can beat this team.
We keep talking about our offense not being able to move it, and that's fair. But at the same time, we got to give a lot of credit to just how good this Douglas defense is. When you got that many Power 5 Division I football players on one side of the ball playing high school football, we always talk about, oh, he's a great high school football player, and he might not play college football, or he might go play NAI or whatever. They're not only great high school football players, they're going to go play in the SEC on Saturdays. So, I mean, and they got him at all three levels. So it's very, very difficult, and we got to give them credit for how good they actually are.
I mean, you think of the teams that Scott County has beaten. Franklin County had multiple D1 guys. Bryan Station had multiple D1 guys. Dunbar has got some studs. I mean, it's just nothing compares to what you're seeing out here.
No.
I mean, just at every level, they've got a difference maker.
I was about to say, they might have one or two or three guys that are like that, but Douglas has about 30 of them over there. And it's just, I mean, their backups are great players. It's just.
You always think, well, they graduated 2 linemen who are starting for top 10 D1 teams. You would think at some point there'd be a drop-off offensively.
And there just hasn't been.
They graduated, the guy who's breaking freshman records at UK as a receiver. They graduated this guy. They graduated that guy. Well, right now, for whatever reason, you can say what you want, but the best football players in Lexington and surrounding communities want to go to Douglas and play football, and who can blame them? I mean, it's gonna be this way for the foreseeable future. Now, there's a very good chance this might be the last game in the series because they're going to 6A. Yep. I don't think Coach McKee has any interest in continuing the series if he doesn't have to.
Yeah, there's no point in doing that. Just like when Scott County was running through everybody. When those teams didn't have to play us anymore, they didn't schedule us. That's why Scott County had to go schedule all those powerhouses and
go play
Ohio.
Moeller, Elder, and LaSalle. And Moeller, top team in Cincinnati again. All of a sudden, they
got a running back that's apparently like a 5-star running back. He's awesome. They already beat Trinity this year.
They were 5-0. LaSalle's having a little down year. I think they were 2-3. I saw last check. That one's going to bounce to the 1, be taken there on the hop, and not even to the 20 before getting tripped up is Daquise Brown.
He got tripped up around the 20, but man, if he hadn't got tripped up, I think he had the sideline a little bit right there.
He had a seam, but it closed quickly.
It closed quickly. That's the story all night with Douglas. That speed is just insane.
You think you've got time. It's like trying to stop a car on ice, only the opposite. Scott County ball at its own 18. That's been another recurring theme tonight, other than the first drive of the night where they had good field position after a 3-and-out. It just hasn't been there. They'll run a toss. Nope. Hickey will throw. Good fake there, but it's incomplete as he had York over the middle, and he had room but dropped the ball.
And that's exactly what we just talked about. I love that play call. First down, even though that's like a 6-yard hitch right there. It's
a safe throw that he can get rid of.
It hit York right in the chest. He should have caught it.
Do it again.
Exactly. You opened up the defense a little bit. Even though it's not a throw down the field, you're still making them think in different ways.
You look at their 11 defenders. They are all within 8 yards of the line of scrimmage.
That was a good play fake.
Fikert going to the other side, gets stopped short of the 25, but good progress on second down will make it third and about 3, maybe 4.
That was the first time all night that I've seen Douglas look in different directions. That was a good play fake by Hickey, and Fikert got the edge a little bit. But again, against anybody else we play this year, that's an easy first down.
We're going to have another sideline. That's going to be a penalty, I think, because they've already had a warning.
Yeah. Wouldn't that figure? We get it to third and manageable.
Nope. Well, they're signaling against Douglas. What's going on here?
I don't know.
Yeah, he signaled that way, but the official's marking it off the way we figured it was.
Well, he's doing it again. He's like trying to correct himself and did it again.
Well, it backs up 5 yards. So instead of 3rd and 4, it's going to be 3rd and 9. And the beat goes on.
Yeah, you finally get it to 3rd and manageable, and you get a sideline warning. I mean,
Yeah.
you just keep shooting yourself.
I mean, it's come from players and coaches, and it's just the penalties have hurt them all season. It hasn't cost them a game yet. They came in at 4-0. They overcame it the past 2 weeks. Hickey to throw. He's got his man, but in heavy coverage. Incomplete. They read it that time as Bryant was on top of York along with Kenny. And they'll have to punt. Oh, we got a penalty. Is that a late hit on the quarterback? That might be a break.
Yeah. Yeah, I never even saw that
I was
flag.
going to say, it looked like he signaled late hit. They must have hit Hickey after he
they
got
threw
rid of it.
Yeah, they threw it where our offensive line was, so it's got to be the only thing if it's on Douglas.
Well, the Cards get their first down of the night. They had it handed to them, but
yeah, it's a first down. We'll take it. I'll go a little quick, a little sugar huddle here. Well,
toss left, nothing. You want to talk about closing time. Ivial again, leading tackler all year, and he's doing it again tonight.
And like I've said, I don't even think that Scott County's blocking that bad. It's just those guys are getting there so quick that normally that lead blocker will get at the second level. He has to get him in the backfield, and at that point, it's too late.
Hickey,
Nice
now he
fullback
handed
dive.
off. They finally got Fryman some space, and like you said, some of the calls they've made early have kind of freed that up a little bit.
And now it's 3rd and about 4. It's a lot better than 3rd and 9. You got a lot more to do, and you gotta imagine you're going to go for it on 4th down. So you got two plays here. Back to Fryman.
Not much there.
It's going to be
maybe
about 4th
a yard,
and 2.
depending on where they mark his progress. The official here coming in to the 43. That's where they'll put it down. 4th and 2.
I would imagine that Scott County is going to go on a 3 count right here, try to get Douglas to jump off sides. And then, honestly, I mean,
maybe run a play. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say I think I would go back to Fryman because trying to hit the edge hasn't worked once yet.
Fikert maybe one play on this drive. Hickey quarterback sneak, that's just too far. He's not going to get it.
Yeah, nope.
He's a yard short.
Yeah, on 4th and 2, it's a little too far there for a sneak.
Hickey keeps the football. It'll be Douglas will take over on downs on the Scott County 44.
Interesting call.
Yeah, on fourth, pretty much a 4th and a long to quarterback sneak against that defensive front. Yeah, it's an odd call.
I mean, you're trying anything different at all to try to shake things up.
And he got one.
Yeah,
just
the wall
a little
closed.
too far. Yep.
TJ Horton with all kinds of room. That could be the backbreaker. Cuts it back right, still going inside the 25 before he finally gets chased down.
They just got so much speed out there.
I think Danny Armstrong finally got him, but not before he gained 20.
They can break contain on you. It's going to be hard to get them down. And
it's like a little stretch play.
Yeah,
he had all kinds of room over there.
Yeah, he broke contain on the left side of the line right there. And, once you get in open space with that speed, it's hard to come down.
Davon Hart inside the 20, stood up there.
That was a lot better contain on the outside there.
They've handled the stuff up the middle pretty well.
Yeah. And right there, the defensive end right there forced him back in, and you got help up there.
Cards jumped a little, but not enough to draw the flag. Now Douglas will regroup. run some time. 8:45 to play third quarter. They lead 27-0. Carpenter to throw.
Throwing deep.
Same play they used earlier. They get wiped out by a penalty.
Did he bring that in?
I don't think so.
I don't see a
He's still running
call.
with the ball, but I don't think he caught it.
Yeah, I don't.
No touchdown signal. Webb in the back of the end zone, but he couldn't haul it in. 3rd down and 7 from the 20.
That's been a play that's always they're calling a hold on Douglas. That's good.
Well, that's the same thing that happened the last time they tried to run that play, as a penalty wiped it out, and they ended up throwing an interception in that drive. So,
but
history repeats.
Something that kills me with high school football, that at every other level, like college, NFL, is on the offsides call. If a guy jumps, but he never touches the guy and he gets back, at any other level, you can just play on. But in high school, if you jump a little bit into the neutral zone, it's an automatic flag.
Yeah.
I've never liked that call.
No. In any other level, you get a free play if you're the offense.
Yeah, and it's called dead. So on both sides, you kind of sucks.
Carpenter slant, hard hit, but holds on inside the 20.
Now that was a good throw by Carpenter.
So they get the yardage back, and it will be 3rd and about 5. Armstrong on the tackle.
He fit that in a window right there. That was a good ball.
Tylon Webb caught it and paid the price. He will stumble over to the sideline. Good ball, good catch. Good concentration.
Yeah.
3rd and 6. Hand off to Horton, who spins, still on his feet inside the 15. There's a flag coming in.
There's 100 of them, so that makes me think.
Don't think that's going to count. And Douglas doesn't seem to think so either. Nobody's celebrating except for Horton.
Yeah, they're starting to move backwards. My guess is either a hold or maybe a face mask on Scott County, but Douglas doesn't seem to think it's going to count. So, well, they just talked to Douglas' sideline, so I think it might be a face mask.
Really?
When that many flags come out, it's normally one of those two. Yeah, they just called
touchdown. I guess
mask,
Douglas was kind of not sure, but
that's what it was, face mask.
Touchdown, TJ Horton from 19 yards out with 7:51 to go, third quarter. And
Scott County had him in the backfield. He just kept escaping. I feel like he broke about 4 or 5 tackles right there. And once you get to that second level, there's no more Cardinals left. He was just wide open to the end zone.
Scored it away. Yeah, that 15 yards will be marked off in the kickoff, so Scott County can count on starting at the 20 again.
Well, that shouldn't. That shouldn't be that. It should be declined. That was during the play.
Yeah, it wasn't after the play.
No, it's during the play. That should just be declined because they scored a touchdown. That's not enforced on the next kickoff.
It ain't gonna make much of a difference.
I mean, I know. You know what I'm saying. It's just they're talking about it now, but that's not what the rule should be.
34-0. Next score will be the running clock, unless it's from Scott County. That would be a small miracle at this point. 1 first down, and it came on a penalty. Douglas storming on to what will be its 6th consecutive win in this series, giving them a 7-3 lead all time. As we said, it could be the last time unless they meet in the playoffs. Not as guaranteed as it's been in the past that they would face either SC or GC in week 2 because of the RPI. So hopefully somebody else can deal with them.
I just don't understand this mark-off. I mean, again, it's not going to matter. He's going to kick it out of the end zone.
Whether he kicks it from his own 40 or the Scott County 45, unless they try an onside kick, unless they're motivated to try to catch him by surprise and end this thing. I mean, it's over anyway, but they could get it to the running clock.
If they onside kicked right here, there might be a brawl out on that field. And I would not blame them.
I don't know. I've seen teams do things that you wouldn't normally do in an effort to get to that 36 or beyond.
I guess.
But you're right. He's just going to bomb it out of the end zone and onto the top
might
of the
be
roof.
good. I think he
Is
made
this,
it.
Is this the CFL? Can he get a point for that? It'll come out to the 20. Scott County will try to sustain something offensively, which has not been the case for the previous portion of this activity. For all the star power they've lost, I'm going to say this is the best Douglas team, at least on defense, that I've seen so far.
They've had better offenses, but this defense is hard to do anything against.
Defense is what wins November games and December.
You know, you watch most high school football games, and it's, you know, you're watching a high school football game. You got some guys that might go play at the next level, but when you see that Douglas defense, it looks like you're watching a small college out there that with guys that are going to go play in an SEC school or whatever. It doesn't even look like a high school football team.
Fryman ran it on first down. Now they'll go wide on second down. And getting tripped up is Hughley after a negligible gain. It will be 3rd and 8. Terrian Hicks made the tackle. There's another guy's name we haven't called much, if at all, but he's a stud.
At this point, I just think everyone on that defense is a stud.
You're not going to start for them if you're not.
No.
I mean, come on.
I mean, they got guys over there that are sitting on the bench that would be the best player for a lot of other high school teams in Lexington.
Imagine if they went down the street.
That's what I'm saying.
Hickey rolls to his right, just throws it at the feet of his receiver, incomplete. It was Hughley there, but didn't turn around in time to even have a shot.
Yeah, this offensive effort just almost like you just want to get to the locker room.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like running a quarterback sneak on 4th and 2 was kind of symbolic of that.
Yeah. At midfield, too.
Yeah, on your side of it. Rodriguez to punt for what feels like the 100th time. It's only the 6th. Kind of shank that one. Takes a Scott County bounce, not far enough. Yeah, it would have kept going. Armstrong kills it at the 48 of the Cards. Another short field for Douglas. 6:29 to play, 3rd quarter, 34-0. Douglas is the only program to shut out Scott County in the last 22 seasons, and this would be the 3rd time if they could do it tonight.
That just goes to show what kind of defense they got.
Yeah, they've had it.
Year.
They've had it now for multiple seasons. Yeah, they almost got Scott County to jump. Not quite.
That should be something. That should either be
all
a false start or a offsides, one of the two.
Gives Carpenter time to reset. He claps his hands twice to get that reaction. Hart up the middle, gain of 7.
They run hard, man.
Yeah, he's just low to the ground, and
all 3 of them. Him, Ty Bryant, and
Hart's 5'9", 180. Bryant's 6'1", 189. So that's kind of a change of pace. And he got TJ Horton, 5'7", 192. He's a load, as you saw. It has another gear after he gets away.
Yeah, they're all blazing fast and are tough as nails and just fly off the tackles.
Carpenter throws it to the right, taken down. Good tackle there. Jackson Dameron, sophomore, 5'7", 165. A safety makes the play there. Catch was by Tate Johnson. First down, Douglas. Clock running, 5:30 to play, 3rd quarter. They're on their way to 6-0. Strengthening that grip on the number 1 ranking in Class 5A. Scott County will have to lick its wounds and get ready for the other rival, Great Crossing, next week. Carpenter, quick throw to Bryant, spinning, still running. Coming back this way, flag. That's going to
It's gonna
come
be a block
back.
in the back.
Yep.
But just
He's
like right
on
there,
his
I
feet
mean,
to the 10.
yeah, that's gonna come
Not
back.
going to count.
But he should have been tackled 5 yards in the
Oh, yeah.
backfield.
Just-
And he looks like he's playing Pop Warner football out there.
Spinning like the Tasmanian devil.
And just, reversing field back and forth. I mean, I could have gotten away with that back in 12-year-old football, but at this varsity
Reality
level,
set in after that, right?
it's just – and they have the ability to do that. Most coaches will be like, no, 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 no. But when you have athletes like that, you got to just let them play.
Yeah, that's
and they get away with it most of the time.
It's not textbook stuff. You got to trust your guys to take advantage of what God gave them.
Yep. Players make plays, and they got plenty of them.
1st and 20 after the mark-off. I've been impressed with Cole Carpenter. He was 10 for 15 for $170 in the first half. 71 of that came on a touchdown pass.
I will say he's handled this moment and played a lot better than got him on a double move.
Good play to recover and knock the ball out of the receiver's hands. Buddy Collins saved a touchdown there, although the receiver did have to come back and get it. Avion Chenault.
Buddy was playing bump and run man-to-man out here, and receiver got him on a double move. He bit on it, but had good closing speed to close on that ball right there.
Carpenter helped him by underthrowing it, but then Collins made a nice play to jar it loose.
I believe it hit off Buddy's helmet. Like you said, if he leads him right there, it might not matter, but when a guy's that wide open, you don't want to overthrow him.
2nd and 20. Carpenter to throw it again.
Great play by Elijah Adams.
Dumps it off to Hart, and Adams was right on top of it. No gain. 3rd and long.
That's another one of those plays that, if Adams doesn't make that play, he moonwalks in the end zone right there.
Yeah.
But instead, as soon as he's catching it, Adams is tackling him. That's a great individual play there by Elijah Adams.
Still feel like the defense has played pretty well tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you can't
all things considered. And that play is more evidence of that.
Especially at this point in the game when they could easily just mail it in.
You got to be exhausted.
And they're exhausted. You're not really playing for anything at this point other than pride.
Good pressure again, but Carpenter got rid of it, and Dunn has a first down inside the 20, still going to the 15.
As soon as I say it.
Garner finally knocks him down.
Douglas kind of ran a deep pick play out there.
Is that Harmon almost getting to the quarterback again, as he has done multiple times tonight?
Yeah, and there were 2 Cardinals there in the backfield. I mean, they're playing their heart out for Scott County's defense here. You wish they could get rewarded a little bit for it.
If they can make a play themselves here. That ball is incomplete as Carpenter threw it a little too quickly and underthrew it to Cam Dunn.
Yeah, I don't know who that is out there, but he forced that drop.
Is that Dameron again?
I don't think it is. 16 maybe? I don't think I've seen that number. Yeah, I believe that's 16 for Scott County.
Well, that's a good question because that's not one that's familiar to me either. Oh, yeah, Jaden Fields. He's a sophomore.
Okay.
Haven't seen much of him. 5'9", 150-pound safety.
That was a good play by him. Talk about a guy stepping into a moment. He was not afraid of that at all, and that was going to be a one-on-one open field tackle against a great player in Douglas.
Yeah, we were talking about how gassed this defense is, and largely it's been the same 11 guys with just a couple of situational subs now and then, but you're starting to see some guys like Fields shuffle into the game and get some action and making the most of it here. 2nd and 10 at the Scott County 16, timeout with 3:24 to play. It's the first timeout for Scott County.
I think some of that has to do, if we didn't mention it, but I saw earlier in this half Logan Jones walking over with trainer Dan Volpe. So hopefully he's okay, but I haven't really seen him out there since I saw him.
He got up slowly on a play early in the game, I recall.
So again, hopefully he's okay, but that might be why Fields is also coming in, helping out that secondary.
Logan's had some injuries that have sidetracked his career a little bit. We hope this is not another one. Howard in motion for Douglas. They're trying to. They finally succeeded in drawing the Cardinals offside there with that cadence. I mean, he's been doing it all night.
Yep.
It shouldn't fool you.
No, it should not. But at the same time,
You're
get
physically
off,
and mentally tired.
That, and you have to give every single thing you have to try to play against that offensive line. So you just want to be so mentally prepared and physically prepared.
5 free ones to the 11, 2nd and 5. Ty Bryant just put his head down, got through the hole, and scored. And the running clock will take over, mercifully. 11-yard score for the UK-bound Mr. Ty Bryant.
Like we talked about, you can only be on the field for so long, especially against such a great team. You're gonna tire out. They're eventually gonna start figuring it out. And again, Douglas has just proven why they're the number 1 team in the state, pretty much regardless of class.
Kick is good by Ranvier, 41-0.
Some people might argue a St. Extra or Trinity or something, but for most people's money and my money, I think Douglas is the number 1 team in the state.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see him play a Boyle County or someone like that. That's
Boyle
another team
there.
that's probably
and they
in the
are
mix.
playing. They play the last game of the year, I believe.
So yeah, they were right. They do. So that we'll get to see that
in
so
that'll
some
be a
level.
very good game.
At least the highlights. That'll be a test for them going into the postseason. That's the one thing they haven't been able to do is close the book and win a state title. So until you do that.
Yeah, they've been very, very close. But
got to the final last year, got to the final once before that. 2 years ago, lost to Owensboro, I believe, after surviving a tough game down in Pulaski County against Southwestern. And that was a year that they stomped Scott County in the playoffs. And I thought, there's no way anybody's going to beat them.
Yeah.
And then they struggled the next 2 weeks. So.
And South Warren beat them last year, I believe, in the state title game.
Yeah.
Which that's another team that has a buttload of athletes.
Ball is bouncing dangerously on the turf. Finally picked up by Buddy Collins. Returns it across the 20 to the 25. That's actually decent field position for the Cards compared to some other times tonight. Clock will continue to run mercifully. Thank you, Lord. And we'll get ready for next week's Battle of the Birds. Great Crossing still got to play this Frederick Douglass team here in a couple of weeks as well. We'll see how that goes. But, man, Douglass, they put you in some spots you don't want to be in, as an offense especially.
And obviously we haven't seen them play, a spread out offense. So maybe that can pick on them a little bit. I doubt it. But, a Boyle County or someone that does like to spread it out might be a little different of an outcome. But definitely against this run heavy offense, they look like the best we've seen in a long time.
Ellis Hughley with a good gain of 6 on first down, 2nd and 4, down to 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, 41-0.
But with that being said, a lot of the other schools they played run a spread offense, and they haven't scored on them either. So
this is also true. Up the middle, nothing doing. Kane Garrett in the game again.
It's going to be 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3.
Gain of 1 for the backup fullback. He was the starter last week. The first non-penalty benefited first down of the night.
And he had to work his tail off to get it.
Ellis Hughley got to the corner and got to the 38-yard line to move the chains. Fresh set of downs for the Cardinals as they tick it down to the final minute of the third quarter in this one.
And it looks like Douglas has some backups in. You can't even tell. That's how little they drop off.
I knew they had to because there was just a little too much room to roam.
That was a good
Now
move there by
Hughley on the
Ellis.
toss past the 45, so another good gain. Has had the stats a little bit, if nothing else. A couple more plays here in the third quarter. If you're Scott County, just find a way to punch it in the end zone and go into next week.
Yeah, get that goose egg off the scoreboard.
As we said, this team has put one on them a couple of times. You'd hate to have it happen again. Another sweep. This one stopped.
Another first down.
But yes, right at the stick. Hughley again. Chains will move. 1st and 10 at the Scott County 49. That'll be the final play, I think, although they may run one. They're hustling here. 10 seconds to go in the quarter.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try to get it off right here.
Fikert across midfield, 45, hit hard, spins away, still going across the 40. That's another first down. And Scott County's on the move with a quarter to play. They've still got some starters in there, Clinkscale.
No, they do. They have I was about to say they have a few backups in, but it's not like they just have a full second string in. And like I said, you can't even tell that they have backups in. That's how much depth they have and talented they are. It's quite amazing, honestly, how deep they are at that lineup.
Cardinal Nation, we have some special guests joining the Scott County Dancers tonight. Help us and welcome our rising Cards to the field.
Dance team entertaining you here at the end of the third quarter.
Maybe they'll bring some entertainment to the crowd. After that first 3 and out, this crowd looked like they were going to explode, and just nothing since.
Feeling good about themselves. And that play over the top, it really kind of set things sliding downhill for Douglas. And like you said, the offense didn't explode from there. They had the punt return and then another punt return that set up a short touchdown, and then it's just been pretty significant, time-consuming, systematic drives since then.
Yeah, that first half, I mean, Scott County, well, we haven't mentioned it, but after that 3 and out, I still don't know how Scott County didn't block that punt. Let's say Scott County blocks that punt, takes it in for a touchdown. This game might be completely different. You just never know.
They got close.
But, I still think that the defense played a great first half. Obviously, in the second half, they've just gotten worn down,
Scott County's total offensive yards and penalty yards for this game are the same, 68. Whereas Douglas has gained 357, 224 of that through the air. Cards on the move at the Bronco 39, 12 minutes to play, trying to get on the board here. Second man through to the right is Fikert across the 30. They're making hay on the outside now.
This is good to see, though, Cal. I mean, you're down 41-0 in the fourth, and you're still playing. If the scoreboard wasn't on right now, you would think this was in the first quarter, and it's 0-0 the way this offense is trying to run this football right now.
The offense ought to be fresh. They haven't spent a lot of time on the field.
That's fair. But at least they're not, quitting.
Garrett puts his head down and gets to the 21.
There's not many positives on this game, but at least they're trying to play for some pride right here.
2nd down and 4, indeed they are. Closing in on the red zone here at the 21. Struggled with the handoff to Garrett there, and that got it stopped for no gain. Coming in, Busson and Benford for Douglas. Third and 4. Hughley across the 20. First down at the 16.
Good tackle by number 11 there. Isaiah Kenny.
Kenny coming in from the secondary.
Well, like we mentioned, Cal, the good news is if we can make it that far, it seems to be that the next time we would have to play them is in the state championship game. Yeah, thank God. But that's a big difference. In the last few years, or some people would be like, well, our seasons have been a disappointment. We've lost in the second round. Well, that's because we've had to play the best team in the state in the second round. You know what I'm saying? If you can hold them off to later rounds, you can make deeper playoff runs.
Garrett with a gain of 4 on the belly dive, 2nd and 6 at the 11. Hickey will throw it.
He needs to get rid.
He threw it, and it got picked. He had Hughley, but he was double, maybe triple covered. And the interception by Jaden Dixon will stop the Cardinals.
Yeah, and he had Isaac York in the back of the end zone open. Because like you mentioned, Ellis Hughley had about 3 guys on him. That was just a misread there by Andrew Hickey.
Drive dies at the 6-yard line. That probably was their last and best chance to score. You never know with the running clock.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of offense Douglas brings out here. Regardless, like we've mentioned, they got athletes after athletes. So
you got a new quarterback in there. And there's
a
nice little running play up the middle across the 20 to the 25. It's a 19-yard gain for Pharaoh Watts. Haven't called his name. He's a 5'8.5", 189-pound sophomore. So, yep, they just keep dusting him off. Yeah, Dury Trahan Jr. is the quarterback. He looks kind of more like the traditional read option type, whereas Carpenter is the pocket passer. They'll run it up the middle again. Watts gets stood up at the 30 by Garner.
Watts carries the football. That was Paul Garner on the tackle.
Gain of 6, under 8 minutes. Cards will slide to 4-1, but a big one next week against the 5-0 Great Crossing Warhawks. Hope you can join us. 7:30, the kickoff time here on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network, NFHS, and newsgraphic.com. Hand off to Watts again. Shy of the first down. He'll be stopped at the 32. Will be his forward progress ends, and it'll be 3rd and a couple.
It's a good tackle by Jacob Blair right there. Stood him up in the middle.
Actually, about 3rd and 1. They'll mark him all the way up at the 33. I didn't see that, but. Once again, clapping the hands is Trahan, trying to draw the Cards off, but they stay disciplined. Trahan will throw it for the first down. A lot of room over there across the 40. Still on his feet is the receiver up to midfield before the Cards finally drag him down on the Broncos sideline.
We just haven't been able to get a guy down one-on-one pretty much all night.
For Frederick Douglas.
They're definitely more than fast. They got plenty of toughness to them.
Yep. They don't. It takes more than one to bring almost all of them down. First string on the depth chart, 2nd, 3rd, doesn't seem to matter.
No. I bet their freshman team could beat a lot of varsity teams.
Last year, Scott County beat the Douglas freshmen. I'm not sure if they've played yet this year or not.
Well, that's good.
That was something to be said for that. That throw was nowhere near. He had 2 receivers going in opposite directions of where he threw it. Clock won't stop for the incomplete pass. Won't stop for anything. We're under 6 minutes to go. Douglas is up 41-0. Cards have been held to right around the 100-yard mark on the night, and most of that came on the last drive.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of space for Watts again as he's close to another first down. Actually, they're going to.
For the Broncos.
I don't think that's Watts. I think that's a different running back.
Fields in on the tackle.
Look like
28 maybe.
James Mickey.
Third down, less than one.
Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. They'll try to throw it again. That play that they tried earlier works this time for a first down. Quick throw and catch to the 37. Look like a tight end over there, Preston Howard. Nope, it's Chenault that caught it, sorry.
Dry on the tackle. First down. Douglas.
Douglas, not in any hurry, but I'm sure they wouldn't mind scoring again either. They've hit 50 plus in all their wins. Probably not going to happen tonight. That's a credit to the Scott County defense, forcing them to drive the field a little bit.
James Mickey on the tackle.
Mickey to the 31 before he's tripped up.
On the tackle. Jackson Damron.
Yeah, at this point, if you're Scott County's defense, you just want to try to keep him out of the end zone right here. Just, make it look a little bit better.
Second down and 4.
Douglas really isn't doing anything different, just running it up the middle, and then they might pull it every now and then, throw a little hitch out here. But again, they just keep bouncing off tacklers, man.
Boom. Goes the dynamite up the middle to the 22.
Still a lot of time, about 3:30 left here.
Douglas just kind of running it up the gut. It's not like they've thrown a couple of outs to move the chains, but not doing anything particularly to rub it in here. Just pushing it down the field. They've got 3 minutes and 10 seconds to do more damage. Inside the 20, dragged down by the back of his jersey inside the 15 is Pharaoh Watts. Got some new faces in there for the defense. Sean Rowe made that stop. Antonio Fry, the one before that. Now we've got a timeout on the field. Nope, we got a flag down. It'll be marked off against Douglas.
Did we get a hold on here?
We did.
That's good.
That'll help.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe
keep it at 41 instead of 48. I guess that feels better. Ball's going to be marked at the 27. So if it's 10 yards from the spot, it was well after the play was underway. I think it was a hold. I don't think it was a false start or anything like that. They ran the play and everything. Watts bouncing off a couple of tacklers to the 22.
I know we got some backups in, but it just seems like 2 or 3 guys have to make the tackle every time. They're falling forward 4 or 5 yards. At this point, obviously, it doesn't matter. But, again, that just goes to show just how strong this Douglas team is. That no matter who they bring in, that's what, the 6th guy we've seen at running back? And all of them, there's really not that much of a drop-off.
As you said, it's a lot like playing a college team in a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
Inside the 15.
They definitely recruit like one, I'll tell you that.
They do. They go about their business, very business-like. Didn't see a lot of, they got a few penalties in this game, but it was mostly holding and stuff like that. Didn't see a lot of the chest thumping and some of the stuff we've seen from some of their past teams. They've got that under control this year, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely more business-like. At this point, I would say they're probably just going to take a knee. They might run one more play here with the clock going under a minute. It is 3rd down, so maybe get the first down and then do it.
Mickey going to run it up the middle.
Well, they got the first down. I would be shocked if they don't take a knee here. About 40 seconds left. It's first and goal.
Jacob Blair on the tackle. First down for the Broncos.
But you never know. Maybe they think 48 looks better than 41. Want to get it out there.
One more play.
No, they're going to take a knee here.
That's it. 41-0 is your final score. Douglas, the top-ranked team in Class 5A, did nothing to dispel that notion tonight. It's going to take a special effort to beat them by someone. It wasn't Scott County this evening. Cards will shake the dust off their feet at 4-1 and face the Great Crossing Warhawks next week. Douglas moves on. They'll have a couple of challenges in their schedule, but I don't see too many teams hanging with them. What are your final thoughts, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I just think Douglas proved that they're the best team in the state. But if you're Scott County, you have some good positives there from the defensive side. On the offensive side, you're not going to see another defense like that the rest of the year. So you should feel all right. Get ready for your crosstown rival next week. That should be all your focus. Put this one in the mirror and just burn it, and be ready next week and be ready for the rest of the season. This game can't define the rest of your season, and I think they know that, and I think they'll be ready for the rest of the season.
That was Sam Sutton. On behalf of Sam and Brett Smith, DT Wells, Mike Scoggin, I'm merely Cal Oak saying good night, God bless. Your final score one more time from Bird's Nest Stadium. Frederick Douglas 41, Scott County nothing. See you next Friday night, everybody. Doggone.